Welcome back to Tight Ship Mama. I am going to try and encourage those of you that are in baby step 2, and maybe you're in baby step 2 for quite a while and you're getting already a little bit nervous about the road ahead. But I want you to keep in mind that baby step 2 is about playing the long game. Here's a story from when I was in 3rd grade. And this is pretty much the story of my life. I have never been awesome at anything. I was in high school and I was a runner, and I always straddled between JV and varsity. I never was good enough to be a solid varsity runner. I was always like top 1 or 2 JV, and then every now and then my time would bump me up to be a varsity runner. Well, 3rd grade was no different, except 3rd grade, it was about academics. And they put me in a special classroom that was gifted and talented, and it was a combination of 2nd and 3rd graders. But everyone except my one friend and I were gifted and talented. Why they put us in that class, I will never know. So when the other 3rd graders went off to the gifted and talented program, I would stay back with my friend and the 2nd graders. And I was always at the very top of the massive middle. And that's where I stayed my entire academic life. But I had gifts, as do you. We all have gifts from God. And one of my gifts is I can play the long game. So in 3rd grade, Cabbage Patch Kids were all the rage. And my 3rd grade teacher's mother was making a Cabbage Patch doll quilt. And at the end of 3rd grade, we were going to have an auction. And the grand item in the auction was this handmade Cabbage Patch doll quilt. And I was sold from day one. So, how could you earn this quilt? What the teacher said was we were going to be awarded points, which was just a Post-it note with like her signature on it or something. You could earn Post-it notes for writing a story. And I thought, well, I can do that. So the first week, everyone's all gung-ho and they're all writing stories, and you had to stand up in front of the class and read your story, and then you would earn a point. So the first week, there's lots of kids that wanted to write a story. Of course, by the 2nd week, there's less kids. 3rd week, there's even fewer kids. But not this girl. No. I kept going because every story I wrote got me a point. And every point was one more than any of the other girls were earning, and it was my power to get that quilt. So I did this all through 3rd grade. And the day came when the auction was there. And there were all these other items, and the teacher kept saying to me, Gina, you should bid on some of the other things. You've got all these points. And I was like, no, I don't want anything else. Even back then, I was not about stuff. I was kind of a kid that had, bigger pictures in my head. And so she tried to get me to spend my points on other things. And I thought, nope. You cannot derail me. I have my eye on that prize. And finally, the grand prize was the quilt. And other girls are raising their hands and they're bidding. And I'm thinking, why even bother? You should have spent your points on other stuff because I have more points than all of you combined. And I used them and I got that quilt. And all these years later, it is still one of my funniest stories that I think that's little Gina and that's the story of your life. And it's been such a repeat pattern in my life that I've never been the best at anything. Nor will I ever be the prettiest or the fastest or the funniest or the most educated or the most up-to-date on current events. But I believe one of my gifts is I can play the long game. And that's what I want you to do in baby step 2. Find your gifts, use them to help you in the long road that you might have ahead of you in baby step 2. And more than anything else, play the long game. I'm Gina. This is Tight Ship Mama. I put a new video up every Monday. If you want to learn about decluttering, getting out of debt, meal planning, implementing routines, and a little personal development, join me on this journey of running your home like a tight ship. Please subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. Have a great week.